Okay. Yeah, started the recording. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing on this experimental stories. Yesterday we had gone and we have just seen that how to write detective stories. But in this one is experimental story, and this is a very new kind of stories which are being generated by creative writers and professional story writers also. So the reason is because with time, there is whenever we write something or we want to explain or you want to, you can see the news channels also, for example, you can see that time is the biggest factor. So when we go back again to say 30 years before, when the stories were written and the stories are being presented to the readers, that time, the time of 30 years ago, it was very different. Different in the sense that people did not have, first of all, access to technology. Secondly, they were not that mobile. Mobility was less 30 years back, I'm talking about. So now the situation is different. Now you have technology in your hand. What is that in your hand? That means you are getting your information every corner of this world, wherever you are. If you have some kind of network, you can access that network and you can get all the information sitting in your own home. So this is a big kind of transition. That means you don't have to actually go and travel to that place. By sitting in your home, you can do a lot of things if you want to do it, and also you can access to all kind of information you need to know. Now, again, 30 years back, if I give you an example like medical health. So we were very much uncertain if a patient, if a person in our home falls sick, then we don't know that what to do with that patient. We are very much at that point of time dependent on the doctor, the neighborhood doctor. What the doctor says, only that we can take care. Now, with this technology and the modern era, you can also find yourself a lot of other options. You can speak to a doctor, you can take his medical advice, you can also get the medicines also. If you don't have in your locality the medicine, that also you can bring. And this, you can see that I'm talking about e-commerce, also have changed our daily life in such a way that today we are not dependent on things. If you want and if there is a need, you can reach out any far and length. So when we are seeing our daily life, which has changed tremendously, and we can see that for any occasions, for anything we need, we don't have to run around. We're sitting at your home, you can get everything at this point of time. Can the stories which are written, for our entertainment or, for pleasure reading, so can this be far behind? Absolutely not. So when the new writers, the contemporary writers, they write, they are also engaging that dynamics of the society of the present era. Now, otherwise, if a writer is writing a story which is based 30 years back, then that will not actually attract or take the attention of the readers. So it is bound to happen that today when you are writing, you have to actually capture the modern era, modern society, modern communities. Okay, modern here, I'm talking about today, current situation. Okay, and I have explained that what was before 30 years back, or you can take 40 years back. It was when a story is written, you can see that it was actually presented the way it is. But today it is not. By modernism, we are not dependent even on our family members. We are not dependent on our neighborhood. We are not dependent on anything. So in this case, our lifestyle also have taken a big shift. Okay, that shift is again very, very complex and complicated also. So before, you have this kind called community living. So community living is that every person in that community comes and helps you, right? And Masika, you can know that what is community living very nice. You have community food, and if there is any kind of sharing, then you share it in the community. Today you'll see that if you have any happy things to share, then you share among your friends. And if you want to invite people, then you invite only your friends or your relatives. Now 30, 40 years back, if there's a marriage at home, the entire neighborhood will come. You don't have to send invitation card. You just have to just tell that, okay, my daughter is getting married. The whole members of the neighborhood will come to meet you, and whatever work is there, they will do. But today you have to outsource it for your wedding, for your daughter's wedding, son's wedding. You have to outsource it to people, because people don't come if you are not inviting them. So this is the structure which has come up in today's world. So with this, the lifestyle of the people have changed, their thought process has changed, and their way of living also has changed. People are coming from joint family to and opting for nuclear family. And from nuclear family also, you can see that people don't want to make a family also. They want to remain single. They want to only go around, go everywhere, enjoy life. They don't want any kind of bond. They don't want any kind of such kind of relationship also. So people want to be more free. So many other factors are also there in today's world. So with this, when a writer is writing a story, so here he is coming out from that traditional perspective to a modern era. So I hope, Masika, you got the back end, I could explain, why this experimental story is the need of the hour. Why today writers are writing this experimental stories. All right. Did you understand? Yes, Masika, did you understand?
Yes, I'm understanding.
Okay. Can you relate what I'm telling you? Can you relate to your place in Uganda? Things have changed, or things are just the same when you were small? When you were
No,
child? Yes.
things are changing.
Things are changing. Yeah. The
Yes,
society is
yes,
changing, right? And it's a very
yes,
rapid change. You can see even a far flung of African countries also. If you come here in this India, and in the remote of India, or you go to Bangladesh or Pakistan or any other, Burma, for example, you can see that everywhere across the world, the community living has changed.
yes,
Okay, so today, for everything, if there is a death in house also, you have to call people, you have to invite people. Before, you did not have to invite. If one person knows, the entire town will know that somebody has died. Today, you know this person who is died through newspapers, or through TV channels, or through other kind of social media. We have come to know that, oh, the person has died. So things have changed drastically, very rapidly. Things have changed. So coming back to our block 4 of this DC3, we are discussing today on experimental stories. What is the content of the experimental story is that, one, we will look into the reversal of traditional modes, that is anti-hero. Now we all have understood the hero. Who is a hero? But here we'll be trying to understand an anti-hero. Then the second part will be anti-plot. Masika, you can keep mute. Okay, you can keep it
yes.
mute. If you want to speak, you can speak. Okay, no problem. You have left the meeting. All right. So you have this reversal of traditional modes, like, we are talking about anti-hero. We are also talking about anti-plot. We'll be also discussing on open-ended narrative, and we also will be talking on innovations in style. Okay, so these are the four contents which we'll be looking forward in this discussion. So I will come back to the next slide. That is, we'll discuss what is this experimental story. When we are talking about experimental story, so what is the meaning of this experimental story or experimental literature, for example? Okay, so experimental literature is a literature that is written using innovative techniques and often presented in a way that is not considered regular. So writers have gone to a great length and pushed their creative boundaries to achieve something that is out of the ordinary. So out of the ordinary means not traditional. Okay, traditional story writing and today in the modern era, people are writing, both are different. Okay, which I explained you a couple of minutes before. So in the modern era, writers are using a new method, okay, ideas and the substance that have not been tried before. Just mute yourself. I think, Masika, just try to mute yourself. Try to just mute it. Mute it. Yes. Don't go, but just mute it. You're leaving the platform. You just have to mute it. All right. So in the modern era, writers are using new methods, okay, new ideas, and they are also focusing on the substance, okay, which was not being talked or which was not being considered while writing short stories. So what is it usually, in order to find out what effect they have on the readers? Masika, can you hear me? Yes.
Pardon? Pardon?
Yeah, yeah, I just want that you mute. Just you mute. Don't go out. Just mute.
Hmm.
Just mute it. Okay. Otherwise,
Yes.
don't go out of the platform. Just mute it. That's good. Okay. So, experimental literature can include poetry, fiction, and non-fiction, or any combination thereof. So, it is not only that we are just talking about the fiction and non-fiction, but all these things can come under this experimental literature. So today in this session, we are focusing on experimental short stories and novels. When the motivation behind the genre is experimentation, it is difficult to say what is typical about it. So after all, its genesis lies in breaking the rules, okay? In breaking the rules. Here, the aim of this, let me go to the next slide, that is, okay. So the first unit we are talking about is reversal of traditional modes. Okay, and who is that anti-hero? We are talking about an anti-hero. Who is that anti-hero? The unit deals with the position of the anti-hero in relation to the traditional hero. So both the characters possess one thing you should remember is that both the characters, an hero and an anti-hero, possess consistency, motivation, and plausibility. So these three attributes are common to both the characters, who is a hero as well as an anti-hero. So the qualities of the traditional hero are: one is he who is commanding, who has larger than life personality, and a typical figure. So if you remember, Masika, that if you just can recall some of the stories you have read or some of the movies you have seen, say, which are being written 20, 30 years back, you can see that the hero is the main part. He is a bit commanding, and you can see that the entire story revolves around that hero. And he has a certain kind of figure he is being portrayed. But when it comes to an anti-hero, the qualities of an anti-hero are, very ambiguous. It is not very easy to figure out the role of that anti-hero in this modern story writing, okay, in this experimental story writing. So you can see that those stories are also, and that anti-hero is not predictable. Like a hero, you can understand after the beginning of the story, in the middle, you can understand what this hero is going to do, okay, what the dialogues will be and how he is going to be in the story. So you can make out. But in that case of anti-hero, it is not predictable. So, and that anti-hero is portrayed as highly materialistic and competitive. That is also one thing, he's being portrayed in that way. And he's not a regular hero. So he can be a regular hero, and hero in a movie or in a story, we have seen that he can be a king, okay, he can be a prince, or he is some person who is being known by the community. It is being portrayed like this. But in this anti-hero, he's not just a hero like this. He can be any common man, a common man. Okay, he can be, he can just be a farmer. Okay, he can be a kind of having a lower status in the society. So anything he can be, right? This anti-hero. And there is struggles. You can see that the quality of an anti-hero is he has a lot of struggles. Okay, then also it's a product of the modern era. So in modern era, I told you that everyone, we can access everything. So Masika, in your hometown, if you want today, you can access any information. If you want to read any stories from India, if you want to know the lifestyles of Indian people, different communities, you want to know anything, sitting in your hometown in Uganda, you can understand. You can read, you can see, and you can also have a visual understanding that, okay, this is what is happening in India. How many you can know about our people, you can know about our culture, you can know about our lifestyle, our food, what we wear in during the traditions, what we do, what our festivals, everything, you name it, and sitting there in Uganda, you can understand. So in that way, if we can access all kind of information, that means, you see, you are independent. Okay, so when you are independent and you are doing things on your own, you are not that much highly dependent on other people, then that is a time where you can do a lot of things you can do. So you might also be a kind of a rebel. Okay, rebel, you understand what you are doing it, but the community may not agree with you. They may agree with you, they may not agree with you, but then whatever it is, nothing stops you. Before, there was some kind of restrictions in our society. We cannot do this, we cannot speak like that, we cannot talk over a person who is a popular figure, a political figure. We cannot speak if there is this kings and queens stories, then you cannot speak over the king. So this kind of restrictions were there in the stories. But today, while writing these experimental stories, a hero, an anti-hero, does not need anybody's permission. So that is, in that sense, he is a rebel. Okay, not destructive, but constructive. All right, constructive anti-hero. One who is disillusioned perhaps with existing normal living conditions. That hero, he may not like the regular way of life. So he is taking a stand and he is telling people that, this can be looked at this way. Suppose there is a problem, then that problem can be dealt in a different way. So these are some of the qualities or traits of a traditional hero and an anti-hero. So when you understand these two things, then definitely you can do justice to your what is that called, experimental stories. Okay. So it is just see, some similarities are also there, but the dissimilarities are also there. And why this thing I have explained you just now. So moving on to the next one is in unit 2 you have this NT plot. Now what is this NT plot? When we are talking about, what is this NT plot? Now when we are talking about character, in the last slide I spoke about the main character of the story. Story, see, when you write a story, you need to have a common point, okay, or a certain idea, certain topic, or certain kind of issue you take. So something which is one unique feature you take, and then you build a character. So you assign a few main characters, and you also assign some characters which are not so important, but also they add to the that story. They also add to the story, not directly but indirectly, but those are also very important. But the entire story, you'll find, if you are doing a narrative or a dialogue form, you're writing a novel or you're writing a drama, you can see that these main characters are everywhere. Okay, because the story revolves around their life, around certain issue. And somebody is suppose, for example, somebody is talking about environmental destruction, and you'll find that there is a person alone, he is doing to resurrect the environment. Somebody is talking about social family, the fall down of family. Now somebody, this is also a very social issue. Somebody is talking about divorce. Somebody is talking about children who are out of the family mother and father, they separate, and what happens to that child. And the child, when he grows up, what kind of life he has. So these are certain things which issues, very critical issues in modern era we are facing in a society, in the real life. Now suppose this child who has whose parents are there, but he does not get the privilege to stay or live with his family. Okay, the family does not, his parents, mother and father, does not support the child. Now he grows up and he builds his own kind of lifestyle. He has his own understanding. Okay, so a story is written about him. Okay, and he knows that how painful a small child is. As he grows up, he doesn't have his mother, he doesn't have his father, and he is raised in an orphanage. So so somebody is writing a story about this guy. So you can see what all things will come up in that story. The entire story will be revolved on his. So thus, these characters are very, very strong. They become the central figures, okay, central characters of the story. So in that way, they are primary, and the rest of the others who has a direct or indirect a relation with that hero, only they are also there, but they are not the strong point. They will often come and go, but they are not there in the main dialogues, okay, or narration. All right, am I clear? Am I clear? Is it making sense, Masika?
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, thank you. So we move to the next one, that is plot. What is that plot? So any kind of character you build, you need to have a plot, a situation, a scene, a behind scene. Okay, that is also very different, very unique by itself, and very important. So this unit actually deals with the structure of creating a plot, a background for the story. Okay, so here the author's viewpoint is necessary. Now, the author or the writer who is writing, he is trying to show us the background. That is the plot. So the background is structured with the modern and revolutionary impact of science and technology. So you see, the writer also simultaneously, so many things that writer has to keep in mind while writing experimental stories. So these are not a story of once upon a time there was a king and queen. So it is not like that. Okay, so this is about a modern area. I said that the life is very complex, complicated, confused. So the transition between the traditional and the modern era, so all these things are being justified by the writer. How he is doing this? He is also bringing that science and technology into it, the revolution, okay, the change, the impact of from the tradition to the modern. Okay, so all these things, it is the responsibility of the writer to give this effect when you write the story. All right, so it seeks to create an awareness and understanding of subjective vision, to break up the traditional surface structure of the story and deals with the deep structure of society which usually remains hidden. So in today's modern world, you can see that Masika, every person has many life, many roles to play. Okay, so when you are when you are traveling, for example, you are traveling 40 kilometers to your workplace, right? And that workplace is far off from your own social setup. Okay, that's a different setup. You go there, you work 5 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours, you work there, you come back. You come back in the evening, you come back to your own social setting. So do you think that you will have some kind of influence of that workplace in your life? Do you think you'll have an influence where you're spending 8 hours of the daytime, which is a productive time, you're spending in a different social setting, and evening you're coming back to your home? So do you think that you'll get some influence from that another social setting where that is your workplace? Do you think it will happen? Masika, do you think it will happen like this? Or will there be any kind of influence, or will there be no influence? To my view, I think it is. It is because there is a very common saying that you travel few kilometers and the social setting is changed. Okay, when a social setting is, when a social setting is changed, then definitely if you're spending there 8 hours, 5 days in a week, then definitely some kind of influence you get. Okay, and you start borrowing, you start borrowing a lot of things. Now today you can see that sitting in Uganda, you can have American food also, like burger, Italian food. Okay, American food, Italian food, any kind of food you want, you can have this, because you went there, or those things came to your place. So this is a kind of a contact. When we have these contacts and immigrations, okay, people move from one place to another place, settle there. One settlement, like 20 years they've settled in one place, then they move to another place, another 20 years they live, then definitely they will not forget the past, but they will continue, but they will add more. Okay, they will add more to their life, like like lifestyle will change, food habits will change. Okay, you will have more multi cuisine in your home. Okay, because of that contact. Okay, when you don't have any contact, then you'll continue with your own food habits, you'll continue with your own ideologies. But when you have a contact, and you are always trying to meet other societies, other people, and the nature of work is also very different from your hometown, then definitely some kind of influences you will have. Then when you come back to your own social setting, you try to implement those. Okay, so and that way others are also getting influenced. Okay, your own people, though they have not gone to that place, but still they get influenced. Okay, like you can see our language, our mother tongue, when we go to a certain place, live there, come back, then you adopt a lot of things. Say for example, in your mother tongue, your grandparents, for example, they don't have any English word. But you see, your language, you see, if you don't get the word from your mother tongue, then you always bring English word. So English borrowing is there in your language. So whenever, definitely you're talking in your mother tongue, but there are a lot of English words which you have incorporated, and likewise you are giving it to your children also. They are also going to a school, and in that school there are different other people, community people studying in the same school. So your children and the other children are also exchanging a lot of things. Okay, they are not just talking or friendship, but they're also exchanging a lot of things unknowingly. Okay, sometimes we do this thing when we like something. Like I like pasta. Okay, so what I do, I learned the technique. If even if I don't get pasta at my hometown, I will try to know how to make pasta. Then definitely at home I will make pasta and I will give it to others, and they might also like. So if need be, you'll find in a restaurant in your neighborhood, somebody is selling pasta, and you'll run there to have pasta because you like that, and then it becomes one day that the food becomes very popular, right? So Masika, do you know any kind of food which has traveled to your hometown like this, which are very popular now, but which is not your native?
Yes, it is there.
What is that food?
We have macarons.
Yeah, macarons. Yes.
Mm.
So that is very popular, right?
Mm. And it is not
So,
our traditional food.
okay. Any other food?
Then we also have rice.
Which rice?
Rice.
Rice. Oh, okay. Rice
Mm.
is also new.
Yes.
Okay, okay, very nice. But I can see
Mm.
your hens, and cocks which are doing kukuruku is same. In India also is the same language.
Mm.
They have not changed.
Mm.
So, a hen in Uganda, a hen in India, a hen in Australia is the same.
Mm. A
Yeah,
hen.
yes, yes.
Mm.
They only say, they only do kukuruku. Yeah, so this is the
Mm.
speciality of human beings and animals. Yeah, very nice.
Yes.
So we move forward, and this see, only human beings, we can do all these things. We can learn more and more and more. So it's a never ending borrowing and influence. We give to others, we take from others. We like something, we
Mm.
don't like something. We continuously do this. So this is the one of the special characteristics of human being. Now when we are writing stories also, this kind of spatial features are very, very important while writing stories. Otherwise you'll not find any people reading your story. They will say that, oh, it is very old. Okay, today we are living in a different kind of a genre, and somebody is sitting here and writing a traditional story or a poetry, so people will not get interested. Now today's movie, you can see a lot of action, fighting. You'll find they use modern weapons also in fighting. But when you go back and watch a movie which was 30 years ago, which a movie is, their only mode of fighting is using hand or legs. Okay. So but today you'll find all kind of sophisticated weapons. You'll find some kind of technology like computer, they're using it. All these things are there in a movie today, and full of action based. So these are all things, you have to keep yourself with the time. So this plot, that plot is very, very important. So the character is being enlightened when the plot is also zinking. When you speak something and the situation or the circumstances or the environment is not in zinc with your dialogue, then your story will never become interesting. That is why the plot also has to be taken care of. When you are talking about anti-hero, then the plot also needs to be out of that traditional set. Okay, so you need to develop your plot also in such a very interesting way. So here it seeks to create an awareness and understanding of subjective vision. Okay, we are talking about subjective vision. That means it is correlated with what dialogues you are inserting, what characters you are trying to build up. So that is what you have to take care in the anti-plot. Not only the surface structure, not only to show that only this is happening, but also a deep structure. That means what a common man cannot see generally. Okay, that also has to be highlighted through your stories, okay, of a society. Like you can see there's undercurrents of so many things, crime which is happening in our society. Nobody, our law and order, does not promote those crime, but underneath there are so much of crime. For example, one is corruption. Okay, the society from outsider, as an outsider, if I go to Uganda, I cannot see all those things. Okay, but I will go as a tourist, I will see a lot of things, places, people, I will meet people, I'll have lunch with them, and I will come back. But Masika, what is what are the problems in your place. I know sitting here in my place, I know what are the problems. And even I'm in Delhi, so a person who is coming from Bangalore, he will not know what are the problems Delhi has. So this is called deep structure. I hope you understood deep structure. So from far, Delhi is very nice. Delhi is the capital of India. Delhi has 5-6 monuments, and they are in the World Heritage. So Delhi has good food. People are cosmopolitan by culture. All these things are surface level. In the surface level, we understand this: big roads, a lot of malls, anything you want to eat, you want to buy, everything is available in Delhi. So that is something which is in a surface level. But once you start staying here, then you understand that what are the problems, one faces while staying in a place. So this is what I'm talking about: surface structure and deep structure of a society. Okay, so this experimental stories actually brings those things, deep structure, which are hidden. The stories bring out into limelight. So actually what is happening. All right, now today's children, they are so much addicted to internet. Okay, addicted to mobile phones, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, so many things they are doing. But nobody is in their family, nobody might know. And but they are saying that, okay, my child is studying, he's going to school, he's going to college, but what is he doing in between, you don't know. So you can see, when you are insider of a society, only then you will understand this problem. When your child is born and he is of a school age, or he is going to a high school, you try to choose the best school, you try to choose the best college. Why you want to do? Is it only for education or some other things? It is not only for education. You also see the environment of the school. Who are the teachers? You also see that who are the other children, from which background they are coming. Is my child safe in the school or the college? So many factors are there while deciding your child's education, okay, from an institute. So these are certain things which are hidden. Okay, so once you are there, only then you understand. From a surface level, you don't understand. For me, if I go to Uganda, everything is beautiful, right? And you are my bandhu, Masika Bandhu, then you will tell me that, okay, this is permissible and this is not permissible. So you will tell me and then I will understand. If you don't tell me, I will not understand. And maybe if I stay there for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, then definitely I will also understand, right? So with the modern era, the emergence of new protagonist, okay, yesterday we have discussed about this protagonist with multifaceted roles. That protagonist is the main hero, okay, main hero of that story. And he has multifaceted roles. That means his role is not only one. He has many roles to play, and which depicts the deep insights of human life in a linear narrative. Okay, in a narrative which is one after another. Okay, A goes to B, B goes to C, C goes to D. So that linear structure, in every this structure, he has a role to play and a different role to play. Not only one role, he will have multiple roles to play. So that's also a very new thing in any kind of experimental story writing. Okay, so the form of anti-plot began when stories began to be recorded in print. So when these things have come into being, when these things was recorded, okay, a movie was made out of a story. So this plot is very, very important. When you write, only you publish a book or a story, you publish it, only writing, you publish it, then that plot is not very important. But when that story is converted to a movie, okay, or in theater you make it, right, like a drama you make it, so that background is very, very important, that plot is very important. Okay, so the writer is more self conscious. Okay, the writer is more self-conscious and might choose to set his own rules. Here this anti-hero will not take a very traditional kind of plot. He might have his own rules, okay, because as I said that he is a rebel. Okay, when he is a rebel, then definitely he will have his own rules, his own mindset, his own thought process. So the message of the story is often overtly presented. Okay, often overtly presented. It might also have an abrupt ending, which is again very, very important in this experimental story, is that he might leave to the imagination of the readers or viewers that what is the ending. Okay, that will be an we'll see this in the coming slides, that what is that abrupt ending. So his stories will not be the regular kind of traditional story writings, which has a beginning, a middle, or an end. Okay, he might also leave at the beginning, in the middle. He will live in the middle, and he will seek the audience or the readers' viewpoints. So I might have not one view, but I will also, as a reader, I will have 2-3 viewpoints. Okay, depending again with a different thought process. I will look into different parameters. I will have different kind of views. Okay, so if he is given an ending, then only this is one which is confirmed that okay, this is the ending. But if he is not giving any ending, we are to understand that what he wants to say. What will be the ending? Right? Okay, is that clear? Can I go to the next one? Next unit? Okay. Next unit is about open-ended narrative. Now, what is this open-ended narrative here? You should know. Okay, this open-ended narrative, as I said just now, that there is no close end. Close end means the story is complete by itself. But here in this open narrative means the story may not be fully complete, partially complete. Okay, so these are called as open narrative, open-ended narrative. So in this unit, we'll help the learners to know the distinction between narrative, story, and plot. So it will also help to understand the close end versus open end story writing, its similarities and dissimilarities. So you recognize, you know that what is an open-ended narrative. Open-ended narrative is when a form reaches perfection or near perfection. A creative or experimental writer is not satisfied with a well-executed story, but tries to break up the storyline by rearranging or reversing the normal expected to a new arrangement with a fresh insight. So this is actually what is called as open-ended narrative. Now, when we talk about close end, as I said, close end is which has the three components: the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story in a narrative. Okay. So it is when you plan or write a story as to what are the types of situation where an open ending should be particularly there, so that the writer decides. Okay, it is not that you come suddenly and you want to close it. No. So from the very beginning, you have to know that how you are going to structure your experimental story. So this all the possibilities of an experimental stories I have told you, and this is what you have to keep in mind before you begin to write a experimental story. You can see also some of the movies you can from your local language. Okay, you can check that how many movies today are close end. Okay, and generally I can see in India also a lot of movies are made which are open end, and we have a sequel, like you have a story name like Singham 1, Singham 2, Singham 3, like this. We have sequels. So these are actually what experimental stories. You have anti-heroes there. Okay, hero is also there. There is also an anti-hero, which are also very competitive by themselves. They are also consistent. That means they are there. Both are there in the whole story. They are there. Okay, so and a different kind of plots are being created for to have a kind of curiosity among the readers and the viewers. So this is again this is an example of the modern era story writing. Okay, when the script is not well written, that means you cannot do justice with the plot also. So the script is very important, the plot is very important. When you want to create this in a movie, again, a lot of things are also there which has to be taken care of. So so this is what, again, I'm telling you, that we have to look into the narrative, the story, and the plot. What is the narrative? It's the script. Okay, the storyline, that what you want to portray in that story, what is features you want to experiment, what is it that what is the storyline, in short, if I have to say, what is the storyline of your story writing, and of course the plot. These are the things which you have to keep. Now, if you read a lot of such stories, modern stories and all, you'll definitely come to know about this. They're very, very popular stories. Whatever you like, Masika, you don't know how to read fast, but definitely you can read in your own mother tongue. If you have any storybook written these days, and the contemporary writers have written a lot of stories in your mother tongue, you can read this also and you can understand. Okay, so don't have don't worry for this thing. The writers are writing in different languages also. Over the website also you can find translated version of the stories also, you can see, and you're free to go and read or watch those movies with the English subtitles or your mother tongue subtitles. There are a lot of things, when technology is in our hand, we can do a lot of things. So this is what you have to try to read to understand this topic of discussion in today's lecture. Okay, so this two forms there are here. I want to again tell you that there are two forms of open-ended narrative. That is, one is situational. Okay, situational means you have to see the situation where that storyline you want to write. Okay, you have to describe that situation. Okay, in the form of narrative, dialogues, whatever way you want to write. You want to write a poetry. Okay, in this experimental story, if you have to write experimental poetry, okay, that poetry also you have to describe that situation. Okay, that is extremely very important. And which is another very important is character based. Okay, one is situation based, one is character based. Okay, character based is means you are just opening up a certain character, what he thinks, what he feels, what is his thought process, how is he looking into things, what does he do, his action reaction, the society's action reaction, all these things, you portray through that character. So the whole important thing in that experimental story is that you have either a situational based or it is a character based. Okay, now many of the experimental story writers, they also even go further. Okay, and instead of the close ending of the traditional story or the open ending, they use multiple ending. Okay, there will be, as I said, many possible endings. As I said before also, it leads to your imagination. So it depends who is reading. Okay, how well you are acquainted with the society. If you are acquainted with the society, or that situation the writer is writing, if you know that, then definitely you will have multiple settings. A lot of people, they don't like open end stories because they are not observant. They also do not know much of the society under layers. Okay, under layers, that means how the society functions, what are the law and order of a certain society, how is one society different from another society, how is one state different from another state, how is one country different from another country. Okay, if he doesn't know all those things, then definitely he will not like these experimental stories. Okay, experimental stories you can enjoy when you have a substantial amount of knowledge of the geography you are staying, the other world also where you have not gone but you are aware of it. Only then you can understand. Suppose an open-ended story is written in America. I have not visited America, right? But then if I watch that story and I know something about America, the people, the lifestyle, what is modern America, what was traditional America, sorry. If I know all these things little bit, even though I have not visited, I can enjoy that movie. I can also perhaps have an opinion that what would be the ending. But if I am totally unaware of America, I don't know who lives there. I don't know what language they speak. I don't know their lifestyle. I don't know their food habits. I don't know anything. Then definitely I will not like that story. And it will keep me confusing. I'll be confused as a reader. I'll be confused. What is the ending? What is the ending? So the ending will not be as per your understanding because you don't know it. Yeah, am I correct? What do you say, Masika? Do you think it is whatever I'm saying is correct?
Yes, pardon. Hello?
I'm saying if you want to watch a Japanese movie, okay, and
Mm.
you don't know, and you don't know how the lifestyle of Japanese people, what language they speak, how does it sound, what is their lifestyle, will you be able to interpret that story?
No,
Will you
you
be able
can't
to interpret?
interpret.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. You
Mm.
can't. But even if you don't go
Yes.
to Japan, but you have a substantial knowledge about the people. How do they look like? What language they speak? What food they have? What dress they wear? What is their culture? If you know little bit from your observation, from your experience, by reading stories or watching movies, or no, this, then definitely you can understand. If not 100%, then 80% you can understand. Yeah. Yes. Yes, probably yes. This is what
Yes,
I feel. Yes.
yes, pardon, pardon.
Yeah, I'm saying
Hello?
that if you know about Japan, you have not gone to Japan, but you know about Japan.
Mm,
Then can you like?
mm.
Will you like watching a Japanese movie?
Yeah, yes, I would like to.
Yes, yes. Yeah. The reason is that you know little bit. If you don't know anything, then you will not like it. Okay, you will all, or you will only have, if you see something, you'll find, oh my god, Japanese culture is so rule bound. Okay, they are so disciplined. You may not like, oh my god, I will not have like this in my own place. So I cannot go and stay there. You will have this kind of negative views. Okay, so we need to be very open minded, liberal minded, to accept and to read and understand. So see, the what is we again, we must not forget, why do we read stories? Why do we read stories? Okay, somebody is writing, that is fine, but that when somebody is writing, he is publishing it to the audience. All right, now I am the audience. Why should I read a story? It is not only entertainment, but also when I read a story, I need to like it. Okay, and when I read a story, I like it. That leaves an imprint in my mind. Okay, that leaves an imprint in my mind. And as I said yesterday also, stories are the best way to represent anything. You want to represent, you see, you government gives lot of rules. Okay, they have lot of rules, law and order, a lot of things are there. But a common man will not understand those rules, and they will not also follow those rules until and unless they become the victim. Okay, or they do a crime. What are the punishments? If you do a crime, what are the punishments? He will not know. But through a story, through a movie, you can better explain the society. Yes or no? Yeah. So that is why we give lot of stories to children in schools, primary schools. You talk about science, you talk about your society, civic society, anything. You talk about your kings and queens, you talk about presidents, prime ministers, you talk about great people of your own land. What do? You give them in the form of a story. Okay, when you narrate them a very an event of the past, you narrate them in a story form. Children love to listen, and that also gives an imprint in their mind. Okay, they try to understand faster. So that is why stories are written. Okay, so anytime when we start writing a story, we must not forget how will the reader take this. Okay, so when you keep the reader audience in your mind, when you write something, definitely your story will be very important. Okay, so just like the bank, financial bank, they want us to know their customer. So just similarly, when you become a writer, you must also know your audience, for whom you're writing, why you're writing, what is the purpose of your writing. You want to give a message to the story writing. Okay, so you want to just give information to the audience, or you want to give entertain the audience. So that purpose needs to be defined. When you define those purposes, and you also know for whom you are writing, definitely your story will be a hit. Okay, so people will really like your stories. So you see, people don't like, you write very difficult words, difficult sentence constructions you make. That does not make your story popular. A simple language, very simple language, you make everybody read your story. So that is the magnanimity of when you understand the objective of writing a story, the outcome is bound to happen. And if you don't know the objective of your story when you're writing, then your outcome is also not that good. Okay, so rather than the conclusion is not clearly stated. So in an open-ended narrative, you can see that the conclusion is not clearly stated. It is left to the reader to infer and their imagination. So here, finally, in this unit, it is called that it is said that the reader is left open with many possibilities. Okay, many possibilities are there for the reader to understand that what you are actually saying. Okay, so I move to the last part of the unit. Okay, last part of the unit, it talks about innovations in style. Now, what is this innovation in style? I hope you are not getting bored, Masika. Are you getting bored? Any questions till now? Do you have any questions till now, Masika?
No, I don't have.
Shall I move to the next one? Shall I move
Yes,
to the
we'll
next
move.
unit? Okay, very good. So there is, you can also write down your points, okay? We'll take it at the end. Once we complete, we can take it at the end, okay? So you can note it down if you have any problem. Yeah. So when we looked into the anti-hero, we looked into the anti-plot. We also looked into the open-end narrative, in experimental stories. The last one is about the style. How do we write? Okay, the style is how do you format that story. You have a storyline, you have also made the character, the plot is also set. Now what is the style you need to give? So here the unit helps the learner to understand the newer trends in narrative styles. Newer trends, what are the new trends in narrative? All right, so it also familiarizes one with the innovative styles of experimental story. So stories try to come out of conventional devices and is equally able to provoke or sustain the curiosity and interest of the reader. So that is our sole goal. Okay, that is the motive we need to have when we write this experimental story. That means it has to provoke an interest. And not only to provoke an interest, it should also sustain throughout the story. A reader must enjoy from first page to the last page. That interest has to be there. Okay, and that curiosity has to be there. Only then, when you write a story, that becomes very successful. So fiction writers in 19th century tried to portray the world as realistic. So before, I said 30 years back, people used to write the society as realistic. They used to say that only this is happening. Okay, this is how one should be. And this is what we are telling, this is the society. But today it is not. Okay, for example, the characters, they will tell us what kind of characters people are there in the society, what kind of situations, the sequence of events, to manners, morals, the local, local means the audience, etc, all this of a society, having also a sociological and psychological impact. So this is how the stories were written in the 19th century. But today, when we talk about experimental stories, they either eliminate one or all the things in their story. Sometimes you can see some kind of science fiction stories. You don't have a character even. All right, you don't have a set structured, what is that called, manners or morals. It's not there. In science fiction and all these things, you can find that it is a very different kind of writing a story, that narrative. Okay, so either it is one of the thing will be eliminated, or maybe the whole set of those things which I mentioned now, it will not be there. It will be a very different kind of things. So why it is because in the modern era, as life both individual and social, so not only you're one individual, but it is the society that we live in. the social. It is not only one small society we live in. The entire society, constitutes one whole that has increasingly becoming complicated. So portraying an event at surface does not seem adequate. So just by showing what it is not adequate. You are not doing any justice to an experimental story. I said that we have to always have an insight inside the society, what is happening. It is just like there is a river. Okay, there's a river and you throw a stone in that river. So what happens? It creates ripples. Okay, so you don't know how what is the depth that stone has gone, what depth, but then there is a ripple. The hardest you throw the stone, the ripples are fast, but the slow you throw a stone, the ripples are less and it lingers on. All right, so this is how you have to imagine when you have to write an experimental story. Okay, so the writer in such stories rather looks an inward takes an inward eye to look into their own thought process in building the character or plot of modern social life. Okay, that is called an inward eye. An eye which you can see in a superficial way, an eye which you can see what others cannot see. So it is just like looking beyond a box. Okay, so you look into a box. Okay, it is there, some things are there, but then you look beyond a box. That is called an inward eye. All right, so this is the real picture of the modern social life. What you see, it is not. What you don't see, it is there. Okay, so this is that modern complex life we have because of this contact, because different cultures coming together and living in harmony. Okay, either it is kind of a constructive or destructive, but it is like this. Then you have language which is coming to contact, and then a lot of things, a new language is coming up, and with language you have cultures which are also you can see new cultures are coming up because of this contact and migration. And also you can see that people from rural areas, they are going to urban areas. When they go to urban areas, they know that they will not be accepted, so they leave their culture, their language behind, and they adopt a new culture, they adopt a new language. Okay, they adopt a new lifestyle. So that is also very destructive, because there is a loss of identity. The entire speech community or that language community, that entire group of people, they leave their own identity behind, is also not good for a society. But it is happening across the globe, it is happening everywhere, it is happening. Okay, so, and in a very fast way it is happening. Okay, because of less of job, less of resources, calamities, natural calamities, earthquake, drought, or flood. Okay, so people are bound to leave their own place and go to a newer place. Settlement is there. So the length of the story should also be noted here. Again, this experimental story, there is no length. The length of the story is also not demarcated. It is up to the writer how well he justifies the story. It is all about how you justify the story, how you make it interesting. That's very important in experimental stories. Okay, unlike those of traditional stories, right? So one can take control of the story's length in an experimental story writing. Okay, so uh, this is all about this experimental story. So now this is open for discussion. Yes, Masika, you have any questions, anything? What is it that you liked in this lecture? What did you learn? Anything, you can speak. Don't worry for anything, you can speak. What is it that you learned? What is it that you will take into consideration when you write an experimental story? So you have to watch some of the movies, today's modern contemporary movies. You have to watch, you have to read some certain stories, and which is easily available in your through internet connections. If you have, you can easily go and read these things or watch movies. You'll find small clippings also. That's also okay. So if you are not able to read, also if you're not able to understand, you'll also find translated version. You can also have your own people in your own land writing stories, so that also you can read and understand this what is experimental story. Okay. Yes, Masika, over to you.
Uh, I need an explanation of the word open end narrative.
Open end
Open.
means end. Okay. Open end
Mm,
narrative is where there is no ending. Okay, the writer ends
yes.
the story abruptly, and you have to imagine what happened. Okay, you have to have your own imagination. So that is why it is called
Mm,
open end. The writer does not conclude. If I'll just say, if there is a two men and a woman in love, okay, so they have
mm,
migrated from one place to another place. Okay, they are having a new life. Some problem erupted. Okay, they are trying to face this, but they are not happening. Then they divorce and this thing. Then again they get reunited. But after that, what happened? What happened? The writer will not write. You have to understand what happened. Okay, so this is called open-ended narrative. Yes, any other
question.
question? Yes, any other question?
Yes. Anti-hero. The meaning of the
Anti
word anti-hero.
anti